Hola, it's Kaipacha, and we made it to March 1st. Ahoo! 2023, here we come. Come on. Whoa. I gotta go fast here because the wind is so amazing here. Reminds me of that Jimi Hendrix song, The Wind Cries Mary. Anyway, here it comes. It seems to come in great big breaths. Yeah, look at this landscape here, a little different than Cape Town. I made it up here to North Carolina. This is Eagle Rock. Made it up for my daughter's wedding. Just got married. And it's a big time of change here going on. Last week there weren't so many major aspects building up to this week. So hold on to your hats. Boys and girls, moms and dads, Venus is conjunct Jupiter today. The moon is in Cancer. Feel those feelings. Trining the sun up there in Pisces. Not only that, but then by tomorrow, Mercury is exactly conjunct Saturn at that last anorectic degree of Aquarius. Mercury goes into Pisces then. On right after conjunct Saturn, Mercury goes into Pisces, sextiles the moon, and then Saturn goes into Pisces next Tuesday. So we're going to have what? Neptune, Sun, Saturn, Mercury all in Pisces by the next Pele report. I'm going to be talking about that. And as you can see what I did for the chart, if you paused it at the chart, it was an exact Venus-Jupiter Chiron conjunction within 1 degree. I captured it while Venus was exactly conjunct Jupiter. Well, not exactly, a couple minutes off, but right in between Jupiter and Chiron. So she conjuncts Jupiter today and then conjuncts Chiron on Friday. Yeah, it's at the same time that Mercury is conjunct Saturn. So that's what I'm going to be talking about today, along with some other bigger picture stuff, because this all kind of ties into big stuff. So let me find a place out of the wind to talk at you and get into the astrology of it all. Oh yeah. Okay, well, I love being up here with the birds again. You're going to see some turkey vultures maybe flying right behind me on the top of the mountain. But bad Kaipacha, I didn't go into the moon. The moon is waxing. Not only does she move through Cancer, but by Friday, then she opposes Pluto right at the end of Capricorn. Pluto is going into Aquarius this month, March 23rd. Big deal. Okay, Saturn and Pluto both changing signs in the same month. This is a big month. Lots to talk about. Too much to talk about. So much to talk about that I am uploading an hour-and-a-half talk that I gave about what the bleep is going on. I did it down in Cape Town a couple weeks ago, and I just uploaded it. There's a link for it in the YouTube, right below in the YouTube description for the Pele report. You can click on that link. You can click on all kinds of links that are to my website. This week's song, Purple Rain, was just really feeling listening into the long version. There's a 16-minute version of Prince's Purple Rain, and he felt his feelings. You talk about this moon moving through Cancer, feeling our feelings. Chiron is our soul deepest wounded feelings, and it's got Jupiter like big magnifying glass on our wounded feelings and soul nature. And then Venus comes along bringing in the heart. That's what this week's mantra is all about. But in addition to that, wow, Mercury conjunct Saturn has to do with, depression, has to do with serious, sober thoughts, thinking, analysis, kind of the glass is half empty and I see what's missing, and it's a pretty... I want to talk to you about how to manage, how to deal, how to grow, how to, work with the energies that are happening now, particularly as then, the moon then moves into Leo, like I said, on Friday for the weekend. By Sunday, what? Opposite Saturn. 29 Leo to 29 Aquarius. Moon opposite Saturn before she bumps into Virgo and comes around to the full moon. Sun at 16 degrees, 40 minutes of Pisces. Moon at 16 degrees, 40 minutes of Virgo. What's the Sabian symbol for that full moon? A volcanic eruption. Jesus. When it rains, it pours around here on planet Earth. Dang it. Ow! Man, oh man. So I'm going to be reading the Sabian symbol for the 17th degree of Virgo, and we'll look further into that. But yeah, I want to talk about a couple of different things, where to begin, where to start. Let's start with this Venus, Jupiter, Chiron, because you would think, it's like Venus conjunct Jupiter? Wow! Let's have a party. Like, how exciting. I mean, if anything, it's too much sugar or too much fun or overspending or just like having a ball, especially in the fire sign of Aries. Impulsively, instinctively, spontaneously go for it, indulge, have, pleasure yourself, but huge difference with Chiron present. Yeah. Chiron, it goes on every 51 years. Jupiter's only every 12. Venus is every year. So even though Chiron is smaller physically than Jupiter, it has a longer orbit, and it was also just found more recently, in 1977, it was discovered. It's actually a little bigger than Pluto. Yeah, Chiron. So anyway, I was looking into Eris. I think Eris is a tiny bit bigger than Pluto. But anyway, looking at this is really looking at, and it was very powerful for me to be down in South Africa. Africa is the heart of the planet, and that heart is wounded. Planet Earth is wounded. Our hearts are wounded. Our aspirations, our idealism. We have to really consider, the sun moving through Pisces. Look around here. This is the time of year in the northern hemisphere when the Greeks, really, went into the mythology of this time. It's the end, Pisces, the last sign of the zodiac. Ending, finishing, closing, completing. I've always looked at, it's so gray around here. Not just the rocks are gray, but all these dead trees. I know they're not dead. That's what everybody always tells me. They just look dead. They're dormant. And they will sprout again. They will bud again. This is where Pisces has to do with faith. Faith. Hope. Trust in some great spirit. Some cyclical divine intelligence that rebirths and grows and blossoms and fruits and harvests and ages and dies, only to come back again. And this is very important when it comes to this Venus, Jupiter, Chiron. That has been the inspiration for this week's mantra. Obviously, the first line of the mantra, okay, that has to do with this sober situation. Mercury conjunct Saturn in the last degree of Aquarius. And then they both move into Pisces. Yeah, Mercury for a month, Saturn for 3 years. And Saturn is sober. Saturn is reflection. Saturn is maturity, patience, perseverance, responsibility. Really objectively, with Mercury analyzing the whole situation, Aquarius, the global situation, and the situation of our lives, where we've come from and where we're going. And Aquarius has to do with this rebellion. Let's look at, Pluto also moving into Aquarius. I've got a couple of dates here. We have to understand that the last time Saturn went into Pisces, Saturn was in Pisces in 1990s, yeah, from January of 94 until April of 96. So it's been, 28, 29 years since Saturn has been at this same degree, moving into closing. So we are closing, this cycle that began in 96. And there's a lot of water under the bridge. There's a lot of experiences. There's a lot of gains. There's a lot of losses. I want to be dealing with the losses today because the water signs have to do with loss. Yes, Cancer, the moon in Cancer, and particularly the south node of the moon. Still in Scorpio, let's not forget, until July. This is loss. This is things being removed, lives being removed, relationships being removed. Businesses, money, future goals, ideals being removed. If they're not in alignment with furthering or nurturing your soul's evolution. Here's where astrology comes in very handy. It helps us to get in touch with our unconscious, infinite, reincarnating soul intentions, because our ego comes up with others and our sexual desires and our emotional attachments and our mental ideas, and we latch on to people, places, things, relationships, we latch on to things here on this planet, and the ego wants to gain some kind of security through holding on to things. But this is a time of letting go. And we're going to be letting go big time. My feeling is, and I talk about it, like I say, I'm uploading that other video because it's too much to go into in a little Pele report. But, I think that what we want to understand is that, Pisces and Scorpio and Cancer all have to do with releasing and feeling the loss, feeling the change, feeling the emotion, feeling the grief that naturally follows these losses. That are, some of them are seen, some of them are unforeseen, some of them are sudden and traumatic, some of them are kind of just like, like getting your tooth pulled, and takes too long. Of course, there's so many drugs now, you don't even feel people, the dentist pulling out your teeth anymore. Pisces has to do with that too. Drugs, alcohol, escapism, numbing out to avoid the feelings. It's too hard to feel these feelings. It's too scary to go down in this underworld of Scorpio and out into the world of the ethers and Pisces and let go and surrender and just like, and that's why I'm saying, this process of Venus, Jupiter, Chiron, this is opening the heart. And it hurts. It's like a stretch. Okay, or it's like getting yanked, and sometimes it is grief and sorrow and, trauma, whether it's wars or earthquakes or breakups or divorces or, any kind of situation where there is a loss, even like my daughter getting married, is the loss of being single. It's like one end. Every beginning is the end of something else. So here's Jupiter, Venus, Chiron in Aries, new beginnings. But there's also, even as we make these new beginnings, we're letting go of something else. The seed must die that the plant grows out of it. It's all this energy changing form, transmutation, transformation. But the part that I want to focus on is the beauty of it all. The beauty of it all. And what these feelings can bring in, to me, is just how delicate life is. Just how mysterious life is. Just how precious life is. Every moment. Every relationship. And rather than focusing on the loss or something that's moving away, and I don't want to say rather than, I want to say, along with opening that heart and feeling into the grief and feeling into, okay? Yeah, and it doesn't always have to be grief either. It can be a longing, to fill that void or that emptiness within. This desire to just, I want more of that, and I can't have more of that. Maybe something's not necessarily going away, but there's also this, Pisces is the dream and the fantasy, and it's like, yes, I dreamt that we're together, or I dreamt that, and I really want, I imagine and I envision us, together. I envision winning the lottery, okay? I envision peace on earth. I envision all this stuff, and it doesn't always happen. So there can also be disappointment. It doesn't have to be necessarily just, loss and death over. There's also, this not enough, or slipping water through my fingers. I can't hold on to as much as I would like to hold on to. I'm trying to drink this water, and you got to drink it fast before it slips through your fingers, right? Yeah. So these feelings are very tender, and I also want to just get into this sense, and this is where the mantra also really comes in. New feelings that I have not yet felt. There is such a wide rainbow, such a broad spectrum, so many zillions of different layers of feeling, that there's always a new angle. There's always a new feeling. This morning, I had a new feeling. I'm 65, and I'm like, you know what? I have never felt this way before. I've never felt this feeling before. Through all these years and all these experiences and all these relationships and all this everything, here is a new feeling. It's different. Yes, if you lose a job, that's a different feeling than losing your mother. That's a different feeling than losing your spouse. That's a different feeling than breaking up. That's a different feeling than, losing your health. Yeah, or it's so even within this spectrum of, you could say, feel the loss. Okay, well, you can even go into each one of these little catacombs or closets or passageways into other areas of the heart. Oh, there, and open up that chamber of feeling that has been closed. And realize how vulnerable we really are. Oh my God, are we vulnerable? Everything can go like that. A drop of the hat. I got my my Day of the Dead bracelet that I got down there in Mexico at that Day of the Dead. Anything can go at any time. You can die at a moment just like this. So it's precious. And yeah, being in that place of gratitude is beautiful. Now, I also want to get into, whatever, man. The volcanic eruption, oh my God, this full moon. Okay, it's happening when? I think it's next Tuesday. Yeah, next Tuesday. The explosive energy of long repressed contents of the subconscious. Just what we need. We are dealing here with the dramatic release of energies which have been kept in check by the outer shell of the ego-controlled consciousness. It may be a spectacular catharsis, but it often takes paths of destruction. Yet unless some form of purification by fire is experienced, the inner pressure of the karmic past or of more recent frustrations would shake up, perhaps even more destructively, the very foundations of the personality. It's like, that's a full moon. Interesting that they talk about a purification by fire. It's in Virgo. So look out, Virgo. Look out, Pisces, Gemini, and Sag. This full moon is going to be a knocker. Yeah? Everything must be released from the psyche, seeking to attain the transfigured state. The soul must become empty, the mind translucent. The key word is explosion. Boom. And like it's saying, the more we suppress our feelings, the more we deny our feelings, the more we control our feelings, the more we want to show up and look good and smile and get the job and have people like us and deny. Stuff doesn't disappear and go away, baby. No, it builds up and it builds up and it builds up. And then you have a kabalue. You have war. On a global level, if we look at the global consciousness, we got the Palestinians, we got the Ukrainians, we got everybody. There's, people going on all over the place, which brings me further on to, this Pluto coming into Aquarius. And this whole really big time period, that Pluto was last in Aquarius when, 1777 was the last time Pluto entered Aquarius. And that, my friends, was what? The American Revolutionary War of Independence, was from 1775 to 1883 or so. Smack dab in the middle. You know, we're really at a brink. We're at a threshold. We're at a big shift right now. And so many things are changing in our world and in our lives that what we really want to hold on to is our heart, our humanness, to have a sense of belonging, have an emotional connection, gathering together with communities, with groups, with the beloveds, with, you know, even our dogs and cats and hamsters and I don't know about fish. it's a little tough, but yeah. Sometimes, you know, grief, sorrow, and suffering brings people together, and it also brings out the hero and the heroine in each one of us. Yeah, because we help each other, and we support each other, and we nurture each other, and we sympathize with each other, and it brings us together and unites us. And let's hope that out of the destruction or the end or the explosions of what is going on, that we emerge out of this tighter, more unified, more together, more loving, gentle, kind to each other and with each other. So, yeah, I want to just encourage you to feel those feelings, and then, like I say, Chiron is a healing crisis. So this is a healing crisis. The crisis leads to catharsis and leads to change. And we want to just really, well, that's the last part of the mantra that I want to, I can go on forever, but, the last part of the mantra is change the course of my life. Yes. Very often, Jeffrey Wolf Green, my teacher, he said, all pain is the result of a resistance to evolution. It's a resistance to change. It's a resistance. I don't want to graduate. I don't want to move on. I don't want to step up. I don't want to grow. I don't want to evolve. I want to just hang out right here where I'm comfortable, familiar, and secure. But no, life just doesn't do that. And your soul doesn't do that. And so, it's when we hold on and we cling too long to something, it gets yanked away. And the idea is, to change the course of your life. That's what I mean. Embrace change. Big change can be really called for here. It's the big let go, the big faith, hope, the big leap, of faith into the unknown. Trusting, and here's the good part, right? This Venus, Jupiter in Aries is, I trust my instinct. I am optimistic. I am going to leap. And I'm going to land on my feet like a cat. Moon going through Leo this weekend. It's going to be you can have a good weekend with all this. Get that Mercury Saturn past, and get that Mercury into Pisces, where the imagination and the downloads are going to start flowing a little more openly. So, it's just like every bottleneck. We're going into an hourglass. And just like breathing, there's a time to contract. Contract. It's all right. You will open up and expand again. Just like the hourglass, just like the sine wave. We go down, but we will come back up. So as we do the flow, baby, purple rain, feel the purple, feel the blues, go down in and feel, knowing that, there's a rainbow. There's a pot of gold at the end of that rainbow. When it's raining is when the rainbows come out, So, I know that usually my mantras are pretty positive, and usually they say, okay, we'll do this. Okay, well, this one is a little different, isn't it? Right? It's more like feel this. It's not about doing, it's about feeling. It's not about yang, masculine act. It's about feminine, inner feel, be. So yeah, maybe this weekend, this week is a time, as Mercury and Saturn go into Pisces, to just be with it all. Be with it all. Yeah. You don't have to always control it. Just be with it. Be with yourself. You can be more fully present with others. This sober situation is breaking my heart open wide, giving me feelings I've not felt before, and changing the course of my life. Yeah. Just look at it like I look at things as it's a spiritual setup. Yeah? Our souls, our unconscious spirit, great spirit, sets us up to feel this at this age, at this time, with this person. It's all a big setup. It's how you manage the setup, It's like, yeah, events happen. Events happen. How you interpret, judge, accept or deny, or it's how we, beginner's mind, right? Going into life with this beginner's mind is really a great way. Mindfulness is another great way, but really being able to, without, what do we call that? Non-attachment is being able to being fully in the game, riding the white water rafting river at full speed, crashing up against the rocks and, maybe dying or something. It's like being fully in the river of life and above it, outside it, observing ourselves, witnessing ourselves, and thereby evolving through every experience. So, good time to change the course of your life if you've been thinking of it. Yeah. And it just sometimes takes a little longer to close and finish and resolve the old before we start the new. It's nice to just jump into the new, but we still got, kind of the, 3 weeks of Sun in Pisces, 3 years of Saturn in Pisces. So it's going to be kind of, resolving, finishing, completing a lot of things before this new beginning happens, yeah? So, one more time, and that is what? This sober situation is breaking my heart open wide, giving me feelings I've not felt before, and changing the course of my life. May your life change course for the better. Changing course, I think of sailing, it's like, if you're sailing and you want to go into the wind or something, you have to tack, right? You can't go straight for the goal. No, you got to sail over, you got to follow the wind a little bit, right? And then you got to tack, you got to come back the other way, right? And then you got to turn, you got to come back the other way. So yeah, change course. Even if you still have that, that eye on the translucent mind. Your goal may be the translucent mind, but getting there, it's a snaky, windy road, baby. Namaste, aloha, so much love.